afternoon, listeners. Welcome to this morning's edition of To The Point. I'm Gordon Joseph, the innocent one. I'm sitting in for GT this morning. And, of course, I've got with me, on Thursdays, we usually accommodate the RGPF. And this morning, I've got with me Samika Farid. And she is a woman detective constable who is attached to the Special Victims Unit, which, of course, is a branch of the CID. Good morning to you, Detective Farid.
Pleasant morning to you and to the listening audience.
How are you doing this morning?
I am blessed and highly favored.
All right, that sounds great. All right, one of there are a number of things that we will be talking about this morning, right? And one of them, well, it's sort of borders around this whole issue of child abuse and child protection and things like that. So let's hit it from the beginning. What is, from a police standpoint, what is the definition of a child?
So with regards to the Child Protection Act of 2010, a child is a person under the age of 18.
Okay. All right. And a person under the age of 18.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And the reason why the SVU was set up, I had, coincidentally, I never knew I was going to be interviewing you this morning, but coincidentally, yesterday I had Mr. Tyrone Buckmeyer from Legal Aid, and in our discourse, he hinted that, steps were taken in recent years in terms of protection of, violence on a whole. And then the SVU was brought up that, through social development and ministry and so forth, that branch has been set up on the CID. How tough has that job been so far? Have you been there from inception?
Yes, I've been there from inception. The unit was established in September of 2018.
Okay.
And I've been there from its inception to now.
Okay.
And yes, we have challenges, but it's a small staff, and we're working assiduously to resolve issues with regards to child abuse, because our mandate is focused mainly on three areas: sexual, domestic, and all forms of child abuse. So we're here to highlight or to encourage parents to be their children's champion today, to ensure that the child's safety is of paramount importance, and to ensure that they supervise their children through this Yuletide season, because we will be celebrating Christmas shortly, and this is the Yuletide season, and as a result we want to ensure that our children are safe, that they know the do's and don'ts, inappropriate and appropriate forms of touching, because at the end of the day, if a child inform you that they are being abused, it's your responsibility as the parent, the guardian, the foster carer, because they are ward of the state and they need to be protected. A child under the age of 16 cannot give consent. A child under the age of 16 is still immature, or under the age of 18 for that matter, because we're speaking about the child holistically, their development, their cognitive skills. If they're being abused and you're not protecting them, then it's difficult for their development, their growth, for them to mature effectively. So hence the reason why we're advocating for change on behalf of the child, for their protection, for their safety, for prevention against sexual violence, child abuse in the forms of child neglect. You may have verbal abuse in the form of insulting language, threatening language. You might tell that child that, oh, you're stupid, you can't learn. But every child does not learn at the same pace.
All right.
You may have some who's slower than the other, right, who might be more skill-based, and some who's academically inclined. So you have to treat them differently. And as parents, we need to understand our children. We need to supervise them. And if you're assessing your child, then you should know which one is good academically and which one is weaker and which one has more skill sets.
Unfortunately, in this day and age, this dispensation that we're in, we are faced with a challenge where quite a number of our parents are children themselves.
Yes.
So how do we deal with this malaise?
Okay, so presently the Ministry of Social Development, because we're part of the Ministry of Social Development as well. So we're part RGPF, part Ministry of Social Development, because these two entities came together to establish the Special Victims Unit in 2018. So we have to give kudos to both parties. All right. So with regards to, yes, we have teenage pregnancy on the rise, as you say. yes, we have young parents right now, but the Ministry of Social Development, they offer a parenting program. All right, so persons who does not have the skill set with regards to parenting skills can reach out to the Ministry of Social Development, because they normally do sessions throughout our Tri-Island state.
Okay. Now, in your sphere of work, right, abuse comes in different forms. What are the forms that are most prevalent?
Sexual abuse. At our unit here, we're bombarded with reports of sexual abuse. So be it rape, we may have sexual intercourse. The most prevalent offense we have, or we receive within the RGPF, is sexual intercourse with a female between the age range of 13 to 16.
And we're having quite a lot of that in Grenada.
Yes, very.
Have you seen a progression or a regression in recent years? I mean, from the inception of the unit, can you say it increased or decreased with the, all the social advocacies that have been taking place?
Well, we have a reduction for this time compared to last year. We had, let me just get my statistics. So last year, 2021, we had sexual intercourse reports. We had 72 victims. Presently, 2022, we have 44.
Okay.
So we have a reduction by 28 or 40%.
I hope I'm not putting you on the spot by the next question. From a legal standpoint, at which point would sexual intercourse be termed rape? Where do we draw the line?
Okay, so rape, right, has to be intentional, unlawful, forceful, duress. That person, with regards to the Criminal Code Amendment of 2012, it was amended in 2012, because before we used to focus on the Criminal Procedure Code, but it was amended now, so it has to do with intentional, unlawful. That person did not give consent, without the consent of the individual, based on the points to prove the offense. So sexual intercourse, the person cooperated, they consented, even though they cannot give consent. So you may have two children engaging in sexual activities. All right, so this child or female, my mommy might bring forth her daughter and say, okay, well, that child, my daughter was raped. But when you listen to the circumstances, it wasn't rape. It was that, okay, after having dialogue with that child, with the neutral body, be it a child protection officer, you would hear the child saying, okay, well, I was in a relationship with this guy, I gave him consent, and we're within the same age and fall under the same umbrella. So you find women bringing forth their daughters to make more reports. And yes, that child willingly did the act together with the alleged perpetrator,
but they're both
underage. And as a result, okay, well, whether that person is underage and the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator, is above the age, so if that alleged perpetrator is above the age of 16, there's a possibility that that person will be charged for the offense. All right?
But even if the female companion who is underage admits that, yes, that's my boyfriend.
Listen, law. Criminal responsibility. So criminal responsibility, and let me just read it because I don't want to quote wrong. All right? So criminal responsibility under the Criminal Amendment Code. Right? Section 3 of the Criminal Amendment Code of 2012, it states, it shall be presumed that a child under the age of 12 years is not capable of or criminally responsible for an act or omission unless it is proved that at the time of doing the act or making the omission, the person had attained sufficient maturity of understanding to judge the nature and consequence of his conduct in the matter in respect of which he or she is accused. So, a child under the age of 12, according to law, that child is immature, doesn't have enough knowledge. But if the DPP and so has to view that file, and based on the assessment conducted, then they might say a case conference, or they might say, based on the nature of the offense, that child is mature enough where that charge can be established. A child above 12, according to law, it states that, okay, well, that person might be mature enough, has understanding, has knowledge. So with regards to sexual intercourse, a child, as I stated earlier, under the age of 16 cannot give consent. So if that person is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, you can be charged based on the circumstances, the points to prove, because according to law, you are mature.
And you're talking about the alleged perpetrator?
Yeah, the alleged perpetrator or accused, as we know, or maybe you might say, okay, the alleged offender, because we call them different names. As a result, that person can be charged for an offense.
Okay. And in your scope of work, have you seen cases of children under 12 being sexually assaulted and raped and so forth? Do you have cases of that?
Sexual. So we have under the age of 12, the reports we would get, yes we do. And it's sexual intercourse with someone a person under the age of 13. Alright, so you have sexual intercourse with a male or female under the age of 13, yes, and they are termed as minors. And then you have sexual intercourse with a female or male or a person between the age range of 13 to 16. So they are different. So as I told you, the law was amended. Before you had defilement of a female only, but you realize that boys are being assaulted as well. Yes.
You took the question from my head. That's what because in the world in which we live nowadays, I was going to ask you, are your complainants virtually predominantly male or female?
Well, we have more females coming forward, but boys are coming forward now. It might be minimal amount, but they are coming forward. Basically, I would say because of the sensitization and awareness campaigns that the SBU and other stakeholders has been championing over the years. Yes, I believe that we need to continue because men are coming forward not only with sexual violence, but also with domestic violence. Yes, it might be a minuscule amount, but at the same time, they are coming forward.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine I coming and complain to SVO that my fiance, my girlfriend, or my wife beating me up? I mean,
yeah, it's just like
you
a
have
female
cases like that?
Yes, just like you have a female coming forward, or they have the rights to come forward. You as a male have the rights because there are men out there who are being abused but scared of coming forward because of the stigma and discrimination. But at the unit, we are confidential. We ensure that you're comfortable. And yes, feel free to come forward and make that report because the same rights that a woman has, man has the same rights.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So, Miss Farry, it's been quite a while that we've been doing this. There was a hiatus, but I'm back, and you're still in this. How do you feel when and that's personal now? I know I sort of know your background. You have a good Christian descent background, and so forth and so forth. So, being placed in that unit, when you look at the scope of work and the reports and so forth that come in, what comes to head? Because I know doing this job, you must pay attention to what's happening around you. I mean, regionally and so forth. You are abreast with these things. From a Grenada standpoint, how are we doing as it relates to the sexual offenses and so forth, and abuse and all this?
Well, I know it's not affecting Grenada alone. It's alarmingly high in other countries, but our ratio might be higher because of our population, the size of our population, and in other countries they may have homicides or murders heading their charts. So sexual violence is not that prevalent with regards to the statistics. I would say that we are doing a great job here in Grenada to curb the issue because not only the SVU is working to suppress this issue, but you also have legal aid and counseling clinic. We have Ministry of Social Development. We have the Child Protection Authority. You have GINO, and we have other stakeholders who I cannot recall off my head right now, but they're also working in the background to ensure that we suppress this crime. I believe also the media has a part to play because based on some of you are promoting positive in terms of, like for instance, Stop Child Sexual Abuse. If you could have more presentations via the media, like in terms of educational programs, later animation encouraging children to stop sexual violence and the preventative measures, or what are the effects of sexual abuse at an early age, then it would help us to reduce it at a great.
Okay. All right, viewers and listeners, we take our first commercial break. We'll be back after these messages. don't be afraid. There will be the opportunity for you to voice your concerns, questions, queries, and opinions. We'll be back after this.
From the NLA, daily picture cash flow and play with. You will be supporting sports and culture, nation building and our future. So go out and play, folks, make it a must. You will see what the National Lottery is doing for us. When you play picture cash flow and play with, the NLA will support you all the way.
Starting September 30th, Monday to Friday, these 3 games will be drawn mid-morning, 9:45 a.m., midday, 12:45 p.m., and evenings, 7:45 p.m. The National Lotteries, supporting sports, culture, and nation building.
Sunday money.
Let's mingle and jingle.
You mean jingle and mingle, right?
Does it really matter? Mingle and Jingle, the mid-morning program that will drive the Christmas season. Weekdays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon on Classic Radio, GBN Television, and all GBN social media platforms.
It's where the deals of the season are, where the Christmas music is played, holiday traditions are relived, and where all the fun is.
Mingle and Jingle.
Or Jingle and Mingle. Mid-mornings from November 14th to December 23rd only on the GBN network.
Made possible by
Flow,
Wester Hall Rums,
Hard On Plus,
Judy Free Caribbean Holdings,
Ace Hardware,
Gittins Healthcare, and
Grenville Credit Union.
On the Road with the NLA, live in Hot 98, Thursdays at 10 a.m. and on GBN Television, Thursdays at 8 p.m. Meet the players, the agents, learn more about the exciting games of the NLA and how it has been transforming lives across the country. Promotion runs until December 15th.
Welcome back, viewers and listeners, to The Point for this morning. Joined in studio with Woman Detective Constable Farid from the SVU. I almost said SVG, but nonetheless. All right, we're talking, the scope of work and dealing with abuse, child abuse, sexual abuse, whatever. But a very important facet in curbing, if not, eliminating totally these issues, has a lot to do with parental supervision and so forth. How important is that, and what are some of the tips you can give to parents, would-be parents, and so forth, to ensure that their supervision skills are up?
So first, for the Yuletide season, I just want to encourage our parents out there. Most of you, I want to applaud the parents who are doing a phenomenal job, because there are parents who are very protective of their children. They ensure that when they go to school, they pick them up, especially in the private schools. I would visit Alpha Junior Academy each day, and the parents have so much love for their children. They would ensure that they drop them off and they're safe and they're protected, and the school have good rapport and dialogue with the parents. And as a result, today I just want to encourage you, the parents who need to, pull up your sleeve a little bit. I want to encourage you for the Yuletide season to be vigilant. I want to encourage you to ensure that your children, even though they are young, they are knowledgeable, they are intelligent, they ask questions, answer the questions that they're asked. Teach them names of emergency contact. Teach them your proper name, like your name and surname. Teach them contact numbers for you as a parent in case of an emergency, who we can call to get them. In case of an emergency, if that child is too young, then you can write down the information on a piece of paper and insert it in his or her pocket. So in the event that child might get lost, it's easy for us, the officers, to locate you as a parent. In addition, we have school fairs and maybe activities within the school for this Yuletide season.
End of year activities.
Yes, end of year activities. So you may have a ball, you may have a graduation ceremony, you may have a school fair, because we realize that the schools are having the end of year activity to raise funds. As a result, if you are a parent and you do not drive, ensure that you speak to your daughter or your son about leaving the fair a bit early. So for instance, you might say, okay, the last bus leaves at 6. Try to reach on the bus terminus by 5:30 because we do not have a transport to pick you up. And the reasons why, ensure that the child do not stay in the school or in the activity after 9:10 when they know they cannot get a transport to convey them home safely. My reason for saying that is because you may be wondering, well, why this officer is speaking about that today. We are speaking about that because we don't want that child to go after the fair. They're stranded and they're flogging a ride, and that person gives them a drink and they insert date rape drug in the drink, and eventually that child would have been sexually molested or raped. And as a result, yes, it's work for us, the police, and it's trauma for that child and also for you, the parent, because you would not know how to deal with that child after, when that child tends to throw temper tantrums or wants to commit suicide or have a mental breakdown. So
don't stop, just pause. I'll unpause you in a while. Let me just ask you this. You raise a point there of concern. From the department standpoint, have you had instances of children or people in general being drugged for sexual reasons in Grenada?
Yes, we do. We've had it, and it's been going on a while. All right, but I cannot give you the statistics off my head right now.
Okay.
But the thing is that it's things that happen, and it happens yearly. So be it male or female, because not only your daughters you have to protect, you also have to protect your sons, because the sons are also being abused. So just the relationship you have with your daughter, you need to have it with your sons. You need to speak to them about accepting stuff from strangers. Do not leave your children hungry parents, all right, so that they would be vulnerable to reach out to a stranger to request a meal, because that stranger can put stuff in your children's meal, and at the end of the day you don't know where the child is, so you're bombarding the police for help. Yes, we are here to protect and to serve you, but in order for us to suppress crime and to reduce sexual violence, we are imploring upon you this morning to be your child's number one champion. You do not have and inform the child, okay, well, honey or son, you cannot attend the fair this year because I am short on change. Or if you can go to the fair with your child, go with the child. Or send an older sibling with the child, so that child will feel more comfortable on completion of the fair or the birthday party, that, okay, I'm safe when I'm going back home. I have at least a sibling or somebody there, and we are protected. We are going to do this together. Ensure that the children have their monies in their pockets. Do not ride the bus and not pay the bus. We don't want your children being abused by persons, elder men or women in society. All right?
When you say a child in this dispensation that we're speaking now, what kind of age range are you talking about, a child?
I'm talking about the same age range, a child under the age of 18.
I mean, while I appreciate
13 to 16.
that legal aspect of it, but we also have to be realistic in this day and age. Do you think, I mean, we know our so-called children nowadays, and notice I'm using so-called children. The level of development and maturity is so rapid, and maybe for want of a better term, maybe lack of proper parental control. As we mentioned earlier, we have a lot of young parents.
Yes.
I've seen instances where children, and I'm saying children within the legal term, will not attend the fair if they are being supervised. You understand what I'm saying? So how do we deal with this? They would tell you outright, and parents, it's time that I implore you. Play your role. You're the parent, right? If your child cannot deal with the instructions that you give, then there are punitive measures. Okay, you cannot promise me that you'll be back by 7 o'clock, then you're not going. And mean that. But then we have the breakdown, we have parents giving in to children.
So we have a breakdown in communication, and if that communication cycle did not start from tender years with that child, don't expect it to start at 13. So according to psychologists, because I did a little bit of psychology, and it stated that from 0 to 7, you can train a child. You can develop that child and nurture that child. You can groom that child. So if you start grooming that child with respect, discipline, proper morals and values, then it's difficult for that child to breach it. So yes, children are different because at home they are your saints. In school they are completely different. Peer pressure, you have peer pressure on the rise. You have bullying, and those things, they are being controlled. They are being manipulated by friends. And how do you cope that issue? And you need to train that child to be a leader. A leader stands alone, but at the same time, they have to learn how to socialize and to communicate and to sieve the negative from the positive. And if you're grooming lives of worth, then you as a parent has to ensure that you have dialogue with your children on completion from school. So when they arrive home from school, honey, how was your day? What were the challenges you were faced with today? Anything bothered you today? Anyone harm you today? You need to have this dialogue with your children. You need to put on your gadgets. Yes, because when that child comes from school, oh, mommy, don't focus on me and my welfare. Mommy focuses or daddy focuses on their cell phone. Oh, every minute, mommy phone going off. Pling, 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 pling.
So you get these reports.
Well, you observe it too.
Yeah.
So the thing is that I'm not supposed to be here speaking to you as to your roles and responsibility, but I'm supposed to be getting advice from you as a parent as to how to go forward, yes? How we deal with our children. But yes, we have to do preventative measures. We have to speak out. We have to speak up. And the children saying, oh, they're neglected. Mommy, don't bother with me. Oh, well, eat your dinner. Your dinner is on the table and mommy is joking her phone or daddy is joking his phone. And instead of you have a family meeting or family conference weekly to offset and to debrief the week, what you do is everyone in a corner, the child in their room, and they have a television in their room
or a tablet
in their room or a laptop in their room, so everyone is in their own space. No, there's time so the weekend is community family time. We're gonna speak, we're gonna offset, and we're gonna refresh. How we gonna do this? And if the child has a challenge, oh, go in your room, and those sort of things. So we're not dealing with anger management anymore or conflict resolution. Conflict can be good and it can be bad, but it's how you deal with it. And at the same time, yes, we're imploring on you parents that, yes, conflict, a child might be disgruntled about something, but as a child, why? You may be speaking to the child about something and the child gets annoyed. But let the child calm down and then express the reasons why the child cannot go to that event or why you're punishing that child. So at least they have knowledge, because we have some excellent parents. They do a phenomenal job and we have to applaud them. But the younger parents, yes, we have to get them up to speed in terms of parenting techniques and styles, because there are different types of styles now, because you have a modern era. What worked for me before, in correction, because train up a child in the way he or she should grow and they will not depart from it when they're older according to biblical terms. Certain things the children are not adhering to certain things now because of what they view via TikTok.
I was about to tell you that, all the parameters that you were laying down about, having this weekly conference, and that is how it should, that's the book theory of it. But in this day and age,
it's different.
It's different.
Yes.
There are so many plausible reasons why. There's a gentleman that might call and tell you because of the economics of the day, and so forth. There's so many, but it all boils down to, because as you said, there are still some good family structures.
Yes.
There are some good family structures. And while at this, I want to say good morning once again to you, Teacher Reggie out there in St. David. There are still some good family structures, but society has progressed in such a way that sometimes the culture doesn't afford. Sometimes parents have to. I know of parents that are doing 3 jobs.
Yes.
So to make ends meet. So when they come home in the evening, you think they have time to study about who the child was playing with today, and they should.
Yes.
But the reality doesn't allow for that to happen.
So excellent. I'm happy that you brought up this, but still they should have a day off or two to still find out what are some of the challenges that child face during the week and where they can go better or do better going forward. Because as a parent, you brought that child here. It's your responsibility to ensure that that child is safe. It's your responsibility to reach out to the school. You don't leave all the work for the teachers, because it would be difficult for them to handle your business that's supposed to be dealt with at home and whatever they're doing at school, because sometimes that child could be the troublemaker in the class, and the thing is, because they're looking for love or attention elsewhere. So I'm saying, yes, we're in a modern era. Yes, Officer Farah is imploring on you to do much better. I am, because the thing is, it will make our job as a police force easier. The loitering on the bus terminus again.
Oh, that's a kettle of fish that I really wanted to get into. I'm glad you raised it, but we have a caller on the line. Let's entertain this caller. Good morning, caller.
Yes, good morning. I was just listening to your guest on the program, and she was talking about parent conference, right? How many parents do have conference with their children? The children need to be the girl, if it's a girl, her friend, a son, her friend. This is what parents have to be, their children's friend. And then you sometimes you and your children become friends, and things will be much easier. Most of the time, the hosts come on at the program, and they just talk, and they're not putting anything into practice. They're just only talking. You know, it's time that we become realistic and face reality. She's not facing reality. I sit there and I listen to her about how many parents do have contact with their children. Yes, the cell phone is already discussed, because I've known it. I'm a retired teacher, so I can tell you, be your parent, be your children's friend. You can't be your children's enemy. You can't be that and shut them up. No, be a friend. And this is what we did. I'm not boasting myself, but parents just meet me and say, oh, you go with the school, because I'm a good parent, you know, and I'm a good listener and a good teacher. And this is one, parents to become their children's friend. Most of the times I listen to a lot of hosts come on, especially police and what have you, and they just talk. What are we practicing? What are we doing to help them? Nothing we're not doing. You know, and I think it's time we become realistic with the world and with the facts. Yes? And then we have a better place and a better society. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you very much, caller. All right. While at it, there's from our Facebook page, it says, in other words, parents are not parenting. The court really needs to order parenting for some parents. Can the court do that?
Yes, they do. Because in Magistrate Court 1 and 2, they do. They encourage them to. They work along with the Ministry of Social Development for a period of time, and then the Ministry of Social Development have to give the court a report.
Okay.
As to whether they would have attended all the sessions and how they're doing, and then Ministry of Social Development, the social workers there would have to do periodic visits to ensure that the children are functioning and the parents are doing their job.
Okay. Let me ask you this: Can a mother or a father? I would not refer to them as parents, because parents are supposed to be the, people nurturing their child. Mm-hmm. A mother and a father, can they be charged, criminally, for neglect of the child?
Yes, they can.
How is that facilitated? How does the charge come about?
Okay, so we would have had charges before with regards to child neglect, especially for Carnival and this Yuletide season, where parents would have abandoned their children and went to have a good time. And the children were unsupervised of tender years. So you might have a 5-year-old or 8-year-old in house alone sleeping, and parent left and went to party, and anonymous caller would have called and make report. So once we have someone that could come and give a report, and the child is mature enough, we can speak to them, take a short statement from that child that mommy left, we didn't see mommy, and then you have persons that could, corroborate the story. Then yes, the file would be viewed. We can reach out to the Director of Public Prosecution, and they would give us a section in which a charge can be preferred against that parent. So parents need to be very cautious for this Yuletide season. Yes, the police cannot do it all. The police, we're supposed to ensure that you are protected and we serve you. All right? We have to ensure that the law is maintained in Grenada. The entities responsible for coming up with these programs are Ministry of Social Development. You have the Child Protection Authority. Yes, the police get a lot of blame for things, and hence the reason why the police took on the initiative to come and speak to you parents with regards to parenting skills and techniques and styles, because at the end of the day, Ministry of Social Development cannot do it alone. And yes, the retired teacher, I applaud you. Parents have to be their children's friend. The police could work along with the other stakeholders and give their feedback and so forth, come up with ideas and how we go forward with resolving these issues, coming up with solutions. Our responsibility is to ensure that the charges are,
enforcing the law.
Enforcing the law.
Yeah. But let me ask you this personally. Do you think that sometimes too much pressure is being exerted on the police? Too much is being asked of the police? Like teachers, sometimes standing out of the profession now, you get to realize that, but wait, as a teacher, you're expected to do your job as a teacher, you're expected to be a parent, you're expected to be a friend. Can some folks from the RGPF feel the same way?
I believe, I wouldn't say that, I don't want to, you asked me a tricky question.
Yes, that's my job.
I believe the police is doing a lot more than they are supposed to do.
Okay.
Because you have someone who's mental, and we have to deal with it. We have, so now we have to train holistically for everything. So I would say that we have a lot on our plate, but still our responsibility is to protect and serve, and we will continue to do that.
Okay. That's good. I really like that. We have a caller on the line. We lost that caller. All right, 435-2041. I'm speaking with Woman Detective Constable Farid from the Special Victims Unit, a branch of the CID, which is under the RGPF. And it's important that you really pay attention to, especially with the season that is approaching. This is one of the seasons. Festive seasons are usually dangerous seasons. We have a caller. Good morning, caller.
Yes, Brother Gordon. Good morning.
Welcome.
Long time I haven't heard your voice. That's Brother Carl.
Hi. How are you doing?
Good, man. Very good.
So you're seeing your two congregation people?
I do. Yes, Sister Farid. When you listen to the definition of a child, anyone who is under the age of 18, and they put together, the law that says a child under 16 cannot give consent. What you're saying that is, once you're over 16, you're 17, you go 16, you could be 17, you will give consent. It falls in the category of a child being able to give consent. That's how it goes. A child, if you're 16, because you're a child based on the definition given of a child. So you're 16, you're 17, and you're still under 18, 17 plus, you will give consent. But I feel once you're deemed a child, the rules are different, and therefore you should not be made available to give consent. It should be wrong. That's my opinion. Number two, about 30 years ago, because I'm a retired teacher, about 30 years ago, I attended a family life education course at Marisha House. And there, the tutor, one of the tutors who did that, one of the assignments he gave us was to cite one law, one family law, and to comment on it. Let me see. I think I went to the police station. It's volume 2 of the books, the law books in the police station at that time. And I think it was cap 2376, if I remember well. And one of the laws stated that the parent is responsible for taking care of the children up to 14 years. But we see children go to secondary school early 18, and the parents, they need parental support. I am just suggesting that a lot of these laws, they need to be updated and to be revised. I do not know if they still hold or if anything has been done to them since that time, because it was since from the 50s that these laws were there. So I do not know what has been done or if anything has been done at all concerning these laws.
Okay.
Let me hear your comment.
All right, thank you very much, Teacher Carl.
I like that.
You know Teacher Carl?
Yes, I know Teacher Carl. He didn't teach me, but he taught my siblings.
All right, good.
Excellent. I like how he put it together. So with regards to laws, I cannot change them.
But there are usually constant revision of laws. Have these laws relating to the topics that you touched been revised? I know we have revised laws of 2012.
We have revised laws of 2012, as I told you, with regards to the Criminal Code Amendment. But they need to go back maybe to the drawing board with regards to the age range for different things. Because a child is a person under the age of 18, and someone under 16 cannot give consent.
Okay.
Yeah, as he was rightfully saying earlier.
Okay. All right. Listeners, just taking a quick peek at our Facebook page and the comments there. Well, Yulin Alexander, all the way in New York, says, "Good morning, Teacher Carl Humphrey. Long time didn't hear from you." All right. Sonia Matthew Scott is saying, "We as parents have to give our children chores and how to be responsible as they grow and not being idly left alone on their own without supervision." That is very critical. All right. Another Facebook user says, "Remember, family members also abuse your children, fathers, stepfathers, brothers, cousins. Let no relatives do abuse. The only problem I have with this, I hear fathers, stepfathers, brothers, cousins. I don't hear aunts and nieces and so forth. All right, that's being chauvinistic, because abuse is general.
Yes, it is.
Right. Gone are the days when you would hear that once you hear rape, it's a man that forcefully interfere with a woman. Those days are over.
Yes.
The societal changes have now accommodated that. When you hear of a rape case, you wonder if it's a man or a woman that get raped.
Yes, true.
All right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, true. Certainly, because yes, boys may be abused, but they're not coming forward, because our boys' parents, you need to educate your boys that is not for the nice shoe. And it's not for the best cell phones. So if a boy is being abused at the age of 14, 15, they do not tend to report the matter to the police. I would have had dialogues with boys before, and they would state, okay, well, I am not going to report that matter. It's experimenting, or, you trying to be mature. Yeah, so it's experiment or experience. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying you're being abused because you're a child and you cannot give consent. And me report? No. So you need to have that dialogue with your son, because they are being abused.
You actually have cases of this being reported?
No. The thing is, you have dialogue with boys, and our responsibility as from the Special Victims Unit, we would have sessions with boys, we would have sessions with girls, we would do community outreach, we would meet the boys on the block. Sometimes we do community walkthrough, because these are some of our activities for the year. We would have had a few walks with regards to child sexual abuse and other activities, because from inception we were bombarded with reports, so we want to curb the issue and how we're going to do it in different formats. So as a result, having dialogue with boys, you listen to them and you learn. And now parents need to observe and assess and be vigilant when it comes to not only your girls. You don't protect the hen alone, but you also protect the cock, according to old people.
Why do we think, because I was just about to tell you that this song came into play, my cock leg will hold your hand.
No.
You
protect both.
Normal.
Right now you have to protect both. And if your son say, okay, well, mommy, somebody touch my bottom. The bottom is one of the genital organs. You need, according to law, because the anus is a sex organ right now, because the law, as I told you, has been amended in 2012. Yes, you're looking at me like you're shocked, but it's true. And the thing is that, yes, you have to be optimistic. As parents, you have to be your child's keeper. You have to be your child's friend. And if you're not your child's friend, who they're going to speak to? The predator? And let me just also encourage parents. You have godparents. You normally send children over to spend time because you want time, or you want a break, or you want some relaxing time for yourself. Please.
Go and spend time over there.
No.
Let me clear my head.
Or go and spend time by granddad and stay over there. You don't know. Yes, or grandmom, exactly. So please, they are being abused, not only by the unknown stranger. It's people that they're close to. It's people that knows the child. They are abusing them. So I'm telling you that you need to be alert, because I grew up where I couldn't even go and spend the night by an aunt or uncle, because my mom was very protective. You understand? Yes. The only place was safe, okay, we're going to church, but church together. If there is for instance, school had camps, I was not allowed to go to camps, because things happen on camps sometimes. I'm not saying all camps, but you need to ensure that the persons who are conducting the activities are responsible, are mature, and they are not predators. Be it female, be it males. You have to make sure that your children are safe. Yes, you may want a little break in terms of your time, me time. Yes, you will get that. It's either one parent or the other parent. And if that child comes to you and say, oh, mommy, daddy touched me there, or daddy, mommy touched me inappropriately, yes, you have to make a report. There is mandatory reporting, and you can be charged under Section 183D of the Criminal Code. Please, parents, please, guardians, please, teachers, report it.
Yeah. Let me just say this. Alison Cox is saying that children do not do what parents say, they do what parents do. Sometimes it is confidence building between parents and children. Now, how many children can come home and say, Mommy or Daddy, there is a nice boy in my class, just innocently? What do you all have in place for the school children hanging out after school? No public library, no after school sports. All school children hang out after school is on in every country. Okay, so that in essence that viewer is saying that there are no co-curricular activities after school. All right, and which opens another can. All right, as parents also, a part of your parenting program should be having extracurricular activities for your children. In this day and age, I hate to believe that parents are making the sacrifice to send their children to school only to become doctors, lawyers, teachers, policemen, and so forth. What's about the professional footballers? What's about the ace musicians?
Yes.
All right, so I say this to say that parents, it's imperative in this day and age that you find these co-curricular activities. Send your child to music class.
Yes.
I wish I was exposed to guitar. The passion I have for guitar now. Had mommy sent me to learn guitar, I might have been, I would have been gone. All right? Send them to learn the pan. Send them to, the school should be able to help you identify the directions that your children want to go. If this guy is going to be another Brian Lara or Junior Murray or Roy Lewis, or it's going to be another Marlon Glenn. You understand? It's not all about the academia anymore.
No, it's about skills as well, because I remember going to school in convent, and we used to have choir on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I was a part of that, even the drum corps. So then after school, if mommy finishes at 4, then okay, well, some of these activities may finish at that time, so you're going home together with mommy at that time or daddy at that time. But lately, I'm not sure why some of the parents are not getting their children involved, but some of the teachers, I have to applaud them, because they would have assessed their children. They know who are talented and who are not, and they try to come up with innovative ways to ensure that these children get onto the athletic or the football team.
All right. Ernesto Jose asked, Officer, do you think we need a sexual registry in Grenada? And do you think that sexual charged people should be made known everywhere they go and not closed to any school, or not close to any school? A sexual registry. What's your take on this? Is there any trend of thought in that direction?
I would say, for my personal, I'm not going to tackle this question.
Okay.
But
you plead the fifth?
I plead the fifth.
All right, good. We have a caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning, Innocent. I've been trying to follow the program. I haven't followed it completely. But something you guys just mentioned a while ago about parents providing extracurricular activities for the children. And what crossed my mind is we're now building these housing complexes. Do you know whether the areas for sport and activity, because you have quite a number of people congregating in one area, I don't know if there are provided there adequate sporting or training facilities or keep fit things to that can children can involve in a lot of the energies that they have, which could as a matter of fact, deter them from some of the negatives. That's something I just wanted to share.
Okay, thank you very much, caller. Very critical point. And what that does also, it also, once it is properly monitored and supervised, it assists with socializing.
Yes, it does. So if you have, for instance, a housing scheme, then you should know who are the cricketers there, who are the social workers there, who are the nurses, and it should be a community with love. Yeah. Because each and every person, you're tight-knit, because you know each other's business, because since you're living so close to each other, then you would know the ills that affect certain persons, and you should be each other's keeper instead of suppressing the individual or causing more distress. Right. So I would just encourage them to be more loving, reach out for your neighbor, and if the neighbor's child has a problem, maybe you could intervene, because you might be able to assist in some way or the other.
We have another caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to the program.
Well, a wonderful program. Good morning to your guests and good morning to yourself.
Good morning.
Thank you.
And compliments on the season, both of you.
Many happy returns.
No, you stress a very good point when you talk about extracurricular. Now, I have the experience of traveling, and culture, for example, in Trinidad, is part of the curriculum. Can the Ministry of Education do something like that? For example, you have music in schools in Trinidad. I always say Trinidad so far advanced with music is concerned. It's part of the curriculum. Be it primary, secondary school, you must do music. Up to Form 3 in secondary school, if you want to drop it off, you drop it off. With pan, it's part of the culture. So you must learn to play the pan. So I think this thing, culture, should be part of our curriculum. Make it a must. So from 1 to Form 3, it is a must. Then when you Form 4, then you could drop it off, do what you want. So then you're going to be instilled. So you start from the primary school, make it a must primary school, the little fruit thing, so make that part of our curriculum. So thank you very much. That's my take on it.
Thank you very much, caller. Thank you very much.
Excellent. I like that. I believe
you endorsed that.
Yes, I endorsed it because also I'm going back to my school years. Music was part of the curriculum, like not curriculum, but after school activity. Yeah. I remember the police force band used to be in convent on afternoons, so you would have students from various schools who are tasked or equipped with these skills in terms of playing the keyboard or the guitar or the sax, and so it was effective then. So I believe we should start back. Like, I believe the police force does a lot, especially the band. I applaud them because they visit schools and they entertain, and also they would teach students. So from that you would know, okay, well, that child is finishing school such and such time and they have skills with regards to the keyboard, with regards to the sax. You might recruit that person to be a cadet going forward. So I just want to applaud the RGPF on a whole, because we've been doing a lot of work besides educating persons with regards to sexual violence or domestic violence or traffic offenses. We've also been working along with students to get them in the field of music and singing and so forth.
I do know that for a fact. We have another caller on the line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. How you doing, brother, man?
I'm good.
How you doing, bro?
I'm good. Welcome.
I don't know if I made that argument before, because sometimes I'm a bit confused, and I think the children are confused too. You have a school sports, right? And even intercall, what happens in the day? You see kids that come with uniform, right? I don't know how it makes sense having a girl running around in a sports event, playing around with a skirt, and I don't know what sense that makes. But to the ministry and other people, it makes sense. And then they turn around and say, we have a school fair. And then children can come how they want, with long fingernails, tights, tongue, just name it. They can come how they want. And then they have what you call bashment. So they can go up to 9 o'clock, whining and behaving all kind of how, making videos. And then the next day, oh, shit, we make them go home, which they didn't go home because they go by their school, they go around the school, they go by their friend and sleep, they go all over the place. I think the system is having the kids in a messed up. Because you have a school sports, which happen in the day. You have to come with your uniform. And you have a school fair that go up in the night. They come how they want.
Okay. All right. Thank you, caller.
So with regards to his issues, I believe this is for the Ministry of Education to address, because it's issues when it comes to falls under the school umbrella and Ministry of Education. I know they have an Education Act. So I believe that's something for the ministry to address.
We're coming to crunch time. Any closing thoughts? Go right ahead.
So for the Yuletide season, the Special Victims Unit of the Royal Grenada Police Force would like to implore upon parents to be their children's #1 champion. Contact 400 or hotline in the event of child sexual abuse or domestic violence. Child sexual abuse, remember that you have to report it. Be your child's supervisor, your child's friend as a parent. We encourage you to speak up, speak out, and report all forms of child abuse, be it child neglect or child sexual violence, because at the end of the day, they are the future of tomorrow. And in order for us to have an effective future, we need to have an effective youth. So be blessed.
Let me ask you this final question. With the season on, will the SVU be ramping up its services in terms of maybe supervision, passing through the communities to see if children are being left neglected and so forth? Will that...
Besides the SVU, you will have other other stakeholders as well as the Royal Grenada Police Force on a whole. We will be bombarding the media, be it in different offenses, so ensure that you do not leave fire hazards lying around for the children to harm themselves or to cause problems in terms of arson and so. Ensure that the children are safe when they're going out to Christmas Eve, they're liming or they're shopping. Ensure that you are with them, parents, or please do not send them alone. Ensure that they return home at a reasonable time, by 5:30, by 6. Yes, they may wonder why, but ensure that you know the bus system and how it's running during that time, and make sure that your children are safe. So the RGPF, we are cracking down on child neglect for the Yuletide season, and all forms of child abuse. Ensure that you report it to the Special Victims Unit. Our contact number is 440-4739 or our hotline 400. If you want to be a hero, call 400.
If you want to be a hero, call 400. Listeners and viewers, I've been speaking with Woman Detective Constable Samika Furry, and she's attached to the Special Victims Unit, the SVU. And parents, be parents. That's all I can close with. Just be parents, all right? If you don't understand what it entails, do some research. Go ask some elders in the community. Take some example from them. And be good for the season and always. This is where we wrap up this morning. It's to the point. Thank you for participating, those of you who called and shared your comments via our Facebook page and our WhatsApp platform. Thank you very much, and we look forward to another engagement. Until then, bye-bye.